One of the ironies about money is that although we generally don't like talking about it, we're often very interested in how wealthy other people are. We also make judgments about people based on how wealthy we think they are and what they spend their money on.
I've been really fascinated lately by these Google searches that if you type in any semi-famous person's name, you start typing their name, the most common search term is net worth, right? So there is something, and I've thought a lot about this. We're competitive, just as sort of a species, we're relatively competitive. I think if we were all having moments of clarity, the thing we would want to compete on would be happiness. Right? The problem is there's no unit of measure for happiness. Like I can't compare my happiness to yours. So we're just, this is the kind version of it. I think we're just looking for an easy way to compare how happy we are.
The problem is wealth and happiness are two very different things. Also, everyone's different. One person's extravagance is another person's essential expenditure.
I can tell you hundreds of stories of people where I'm like, that's irresponsible spending. And because it was my job, I happened to be their financial advisor, I would ask, before I would say that, I would ask a couple of questions. And then I'd realize, one example was a friend of mine who was every winter he would go helicopter skiing. And I remember saying to him, his name was Todd, I remember saying, Todd, look, you really should be saving that money. And as we dug deeper, we understood that was keeping him, his profession was massively stressful, right? And that trip was allowing him to continue to do the work that he did, and he claimed keeping his marriage together. And then suddenly that helicopter trip doesn't look like an extravagant expense.
People don't just judge others according to their wealth and expenditure, they also judge themselves. It isn't very helpful.
There's so much shame and guilt built into this thing called money, right? We all thought it was about numbers. Sorry, right? It's about feelings, and shame and guilt and blame are some of the strongest emotions around money. And I think we could just go such a long ways if we could just start recognizing first. So step one would just be recognizing. It's one of these incredibly important subjects. We don't know how to talk about it. The only way forward, particularly around these emotions of shame and judgment and guilt, the only way forward is to learn to start having discussions about it.
So we should try to feel more comfortable talking about money. And the next time you find yourself judging someone for buying, say, an expensive car, stop and think. That's their business, and you don't know the full picture.